Picture this. You've spent years trying to become the man. You fixed your style, improved your body, upgraded your lifestyle, learned how to speak confidently, how to behave in social settings, how to look high value. You followed every rule society told you would make you irresistible. And yet, here you are. Women like you. They respect you. They think you're a good guy. They'll go out with you, talk to you, smile politely. But they don't chase you. They don't think about you at night. They don't check their phone waiting for your message. They don't fight for your attention. Meanwhile, you watch some guy who has absolutely none of the things you've worked so hard to build. He's not rich. He's not shredded. He doesn't drive a nice car. Yet women become unhinged over him. They blow up his phone. They rearrange their schedules for him. They compete for him. They get attached to him. And you sit there thinking, what does he have that I don't? What does he know that I don't? How am I working so hard while he does nothing and still wins? Here's the part that hits you like a punch to the chest. Everything you've been taught about female attraction. Everything you were told to do, build, improve, and become has been completely backwards. Women don't get addicted because of your accomplishments. They don't fall for you because you look successful. They don't lose their mind over your achievements. They get addicted to a man's internal state, not his external results. Let that sink in. Your body, your money, your clothes, your lifestyle. All of that means nothing if, under the surface, she feels emptiness instead of power. She feels effort instead of certainty. She feels performance instead of presence. Because here's the truth no one ever told you. A woman doesn't fall for what you show her. She falls for what she senses in you. And she can sense everything. She feels the insecurity behind overconfidence. She feels the desperation behind effort. She feels the approval-seeking behind politeness. She feels the fear behind trying to be respectful. Women don't get addicted to your achievements. They get addicted to how you carry yourself when you think no one's watching. And here's the part that will flip your entire understanding. A man with average looks, average income, average lifestyle, but with rock-solid internal confidence, will always outrank a man with perfect external markers but a fragile inner world. Why? Because women don't read your resume. They read your energy. Your frame. Your presence. Your certainty. Your boundaries. Your emotional stability. Your lack of neediness. Your comfort in your own skin. Women become addicted to the man who walks into the room and doesn't need anything from it. The man whose presence already speaks louder than his achievements. The man who is not performing because he already knows who he is. And that's why everything you've been doing hasn't been working. Because you've been building the outside of the house while the foundation was still cracked. And here's what nobody prepared you for. Female addiction has nothing to do with what you have. It has everything to do with what you are. Not the mask. Not the image. Not the polished version. But the internal state beneath it. The man who is grounded. The man who is calm. The man who is unfazed. The man who is whole. Because deep down, women aren't addicted to perfection. They're addicted to a rare kind of strength. The kind most men will never develop. And once you see how this really works, once you understand what triggers a woman's psychological attachment, once you learn why she chases the man who doesn't try, and ignores the man who gives everything, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. What you're about to hear is the part men never understand. The part that separates the guy women like from the man they become emotionally dependent on. Because female addiction doesn't start with attraction. It starts with perception. The moment she meets you, before you say a word, before you try to impress her, before you even understand what's happening, her subconscious is already measuring your internal world. She isn't judging your shoes or your job or your haircut. She's judging something far more primal. Your relationship with yourself. She's watching how you breathe. How you move. How your eyes settle or drift. How you speak without needing validation. How your presence feels, calm or chaotic, grounded or frantic, full or empty. Because this is the part most men never realize. A woman becomes addicted to the man whose internal energy overwhelms her defenses. Not with aggression. Not with arrogance. Not with force. But with something far rarer. Emotional certainty. The man who doesn't need her approval becomes the man she wants approval from. The man who doesn't chase her becomes the man she chases. The man who doesn't perform becomes the man she tries to impress. And that internal shift pulls her like gravity. This is why the guy with nothing on paper can have women obsessing over him. His external world might be simple, even unimpressive. But his inner world is unshakable. He's comfortable with himself. He's not acting, not proving, not performing, not showcasing anything. He moves through the world like a man who expects good things because he knows he's enough without them. And women feel that. Because here's the truth men hate to admit. A woman gets addicted when she senses you have something she can't control. The guy who tries too hard? She can control him. The guy who seeks her approval? She can control him. The guy who lights up when she validates him? She owns him before anything even starts. But the man who is kind yet unmoved, interested yet not attached, present yet not needy. That man becomes a psychological puzzle she can't walk away from. She starts trying to decode you. She starts replaying your interactions. She starts wondering why you don't react the way other men do. She starts comparing you to every guy who wanted something from her. And the more she analyzes you, the deeper she falls. Because addiction isn't built through intensity. It's built through mystery. The mystery of a man who is completely himself, even in her presence. The mystery of a man who doesn't bend to her attention or flinch at her silence. The mystery of a man who holds his frame when she pushes, tests, or pulls away. The mystery of a man who seems to have a world inside him she hasn't earned the key to yet. It drives her insane, in the most intoxicating way. And here's the twist that breaks most men. Women don't get addicted to men who give them everything. They get addicted to the man who makes them feel something they can't manufacture on their own. A man whose presence shifts the atmosphere. A man whose quiet confidence makes her soften. A man whose calmness makes her open up. A man whose inner stability lets her drop her guard. Not because he tries to affect her, but because he doesn't need her to feel complete. That's the paradox. The less you rely on her emotionally, the more emotionally invested she becomes. Not because she's manipulative. Not because she's playing games. But because feminine instinct is drawn to masculine groundedness the way fire is drawn to oxygen. She wants the man whose self-worth isn't negotiable. She wants the man she can't move emotionally unless he chooses to move. She wants the man who can stand firm in the storm of her emotions without losing his center. That's the man she becomes addicted to. Not the perfection. Not the performance. Not the external achievements. The internal dominance. The emotional calm. The self-validation. The unspoken confidence. And once she feels that energy, once she feels the presence of a man who is whole on his own, she falls into a kind of attraction that she cannot rationalize, control, or suppress. Because she's no longer just attracted. She's hooked. Here's the moment most men never reach. The moment where attraction transforms into something deeper, heavier, and far harder to escape. The moment where a woman stops simply liking you and starts feeling emotionally anchored to you. Because addiction doesn't happen when she's with you. It happens when you're gone. It begins the first time she realizes you don't chase when she pulls back. The first time you stay calm when she gets emotional. The first time she pushes your boundaries and you hold your line without anger or fear. The first time she feels that you're not afraid to lose her, because you're not afraid to lose anyone. That's the moment her psychology flips. She starts noticing you in places you aren't. Your voice echoes in her mind. Your energy lingers in her chest. Your calmness becomes the standard she compares other men to. And they all fall short. Because once a woman experiences a man with true internal stability, every other man feels like noise. This is the part no one tells you. A woman doesn't get addicted to a man who reacts to her. She gets addicted to the man she can't emotionally shake. If she raises her voice and you stay centered. If she tests you and you don't break. If she gets distant and you remain peaceful instead of panicking. If she gives you attention and you accept it without inflating. She'll feel something she doesn't feel with men who idolize her. Respect. And respect is the seed of addiction. Because now she's not just intrigued by you, she's affected by you. She senses something she can't fully control, something she can't manipulate, something she can't predict. She senses a man whose inner world is stronger than her emotional storms. And feminine instinct is drawn to that strength with a force she cannot intellectualize. This is when she starts to invest. Not because you convinced her, but because she feels compelled. She gives more of herself. She opens up emotionally. She reveals things she doesn't tell most men. She becomes vulnerable in ways that surprise even her. And the more she invests, the deeper she sinks. Because the secret no one teaches men is this. Women become addicted to the man who creates emotional safety without sacrificing masculine tension. You don't chase. But you care. You don't fold. But you listen. You don't dominate her. But you don't let her dominate you. You don't lose yourself. But you let her see glimpses of your truth. This is the emotional polarity that fuels her obsession. It's the magnetic pull between her softness and your strength, her emotion and your stillness, her uncertainty in your presence. And it only grows stronger each time she realizes something else. You are not replaceable. Not because you're perfect. Not because you're rich. Not because you're impressive. But because she knows she won't find another man who stands so firmly in himself. Most men try to win women with effort. But the men women get addicted to win them with essence. Your essence. Your internal world. Your unspoken confidence. Your groundedness. Your peace. Your self-respect. Your emotional sovereignty. You don't need her to fill your emptiness, because you don't have any. You don't need her to validate your worth, because you already know it. You don't need her to stabilize you, because you're already immovable. And that's why she attaches. Because at her core, a woman wants to feel a man's inner strength more than she wants to see his outer accomplishments. She wants the presence that calms her. The energy that anchors her. The masculinity that lets her be feminine. The consistency that lets her surrender. The stability that lets her feel safe. While the mystery keeps her hungry. And when she finds that combination, when she feels that rare balance between gentleness and strength, calmness and intensity, warmth and distance, she doesn't just fall for you. She becomes emotionally addicted to you. And here's the final truth. A woman becomes addicted to the man who feels complete without her. Because deep down, she wants to choose you. Not save you, not fix you, not complete you. She wants to love a man who already stands tall. A man who walks into the world with quiet certainty. A man whose presence reshapes her. A man who doesn't need her, but still chooses her. That's the man she cannot forget. That's the man she obsesses over. That's the man she thinks about long after you walk away. And that, right there, is how women get addicted to men.